In today's world, rife with distractions, it's more critical than ever to stay focused and resist the influence of external noise. The path to self-realization demands relentless honesty with oneself and an unwavering commitment to the chosen course. Every second spent worrying about global issues or replaying past mistakes becomes an act of betrayal against one's own potential. Instead of seeking external motivation or reassurance, it's necessary to cultivate inner stillness, discipline, and a clear understanding of one's direction. This echoes Stoicism, a philosophy that calls for courage and self-control, rather than superficial comfort. The challenge lies in breaking the invisible chains that bind the mind and remembering the original purpose, to not be distracted, but to manage oneself. In reality, everyone is at war, not with external enemies, but with their own attention, emotions, and past. The Stoics, anticipating the modern chaos, taught the importance of controlling the mind. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that a person's power lies in managing their thoughts, not external circumstances. However, instead of ruling their minds, many allow external factors to control them. Views, messages, regrets, comments, and memories all pull at a person like a tide, gradually eroding their will and turning them into a passive observer of their own life. Humans were not created for passive contemplation. Their destiny is to move boldly forward through life's trials. The first question they must ask themselves is, who are they truly? When the cacophony of the outside world quiets, when others' opinions cease to pressure, and the burden of the past ceases to weigh them down. Who are they when the inner critic falls silent, ceasing to sow doubts at every step? Who are they when all that is superfluous has been discarded? Until this question is answered, a person's attention will scatter. They will waste energy on those who do not value them, and they will live reactively rather than proactively. This is the main problem of the modern world. Billions of voices sounding at once, and most of them are false. Striving for clarity and peace of mind requires discarding all that is unnecessary, freeing oneself from the shackles of the past, and confidently walking one's path as if it were carved in stone. This path begins with discipline, not with fleeting motivation, not with a feeling of readiness, and not with waiting for the perfect moment. Discipline, based on the principles of Stoicism, allows one to act despite feelings. Epictetus wisely noted, "If you wish to improve, be content to appear foolish and stupid." This is no accident, because those who chase popularity, who try to fit into others' frameworks, who build their lives based on the approval of others, have already strayed from the path. They are not moving forward, but merely running in circles, losing themselves in the pursuit of illusory ideals. Deep within each person lies a desire for liberation, for solitude in the silence of their own inner world, where there is no room for vanity and anxiety. There, in the depths of self-knowledge, one can find that unwavering part of themselves that knows no fear or doubt, that true essence buried beneath the weight of social expectations and imposed stereotypes. This version of oneself is not just a dream, it is real and awaits its hour. Stoicism offers tools for achieving this inner strength. Discipline to meet the dawn with new goals, restraint to resist provocations and the poisonous words of others, and clarity of mind to distinguish the important from the fleeting in the chaos of information flow. However, this path is not strewn with roses. It requires giving up instant pleasures, such as the sweetness of revenge, the thirst for attention, and the painful desire to always be right. It calls for turning away from the endless scrolling of news feeds, which slowly kills dreams, burying them in the depths of the mind. Humans come into this world not just to enjoy life, but to become stronger. The Stoic warrior does not need to shout to attract attention. They prefer to remain invisible, quietly building their power. They do not waste time on revenge, but silently surpass their enemies, leaving them far behind. They do not engage in senseless arguments, but speak only once, allowing their silence to say everything else. That is why even Emperor Marcus Aurelius, surrounded by luxury and power, reminded himself daily that one should not fear death, but an empty, unlived life. Can each person truly say that they lived the day fully, rather than just existing, killing time, lived consciously, energetically, and purposefully? Unfortunately, most people do not, preferring to passively react to external stimuli and live, looking back at the actions of others. Such a way of life cannot be called true existence. It is merely a jalka repetition of others' scenarios. It is necessary to discard all that is superfluous, to isolate oneself from the noise of information. Otherwise, one risks forever losing touch with one's own thoughts and desires. Otherwise, a person will never know what they truly want, contenting themselves with what is imposed on them. They will measure their significance by the number of views, their strength by the number of followers, and their happiness by fleeting entertainment. This is not Stoicism, but true slavery, and the shackles do not always look like suffering. Sometimes they are disguised as pleasures, which makes them even more dangerous. Seneca warned, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." This is the main danger of information noise. It does not just distract, but creates non-existent pain. It convinces a person of their inadequacy, when in reality they are simply overstimulated. Think for a moment. When was the last time an individual allowed themselves the luxury of being in absolute silence? Without the distracting influence of gadgets, without intrusive noise, without striving for approval from others, only themselves, their breath, and the flow of their thoughts. It is in this silence that the true inner struggle unfolds. Silence does not tolerate lies. It ruthlessly exposes the truth. Often, this truth is unflattering. Regrets about the past, fears about the future, mistakes made, suppressed anger, all that one must face. Silence becomes a battlefield, an arena where a collision with oneself occurs. The pursuit of clarity of mind and inner strength finds its embodiment in silence. And here, Stoicism comes to the rescue, a philosophy that does not promise comfort or universal recognition. Its promise lies in gaining control, but not over the external world or other people, but over oneself, the only thing one truly owns. This control is achieved by cutting off all that is superfluous and mastering one's mind. When someone causes harm, a Stoic pauses, reflects, and refrains from an impulsive reaction. When the past whispers words of shame, they take a deep breath, observe their feelings, and do not allow them to enslave them. When the world tries to knock them off course, they smile, remembering their goal and remaining true to their path. The Stoic path is not a manifestation of coldness or insensitivity, but a demonstration of inner strength. It is the ability to feel chaos without allowing it to consume oneself. It is the ability to see distractions, but not to succumb to the temptation to follow them. It is the awareness of pain, but not allowing it to define who you are. Let us turn our gaze to this all-encompassing topic, pain. It is no secret that the life path of each of us is strewn with thorns, betrayal, the bitterness of loss, the corrosive feeling of regret, the oppressive shame. All this, one way or another, leaves its mark on our souls. However, the wise Stoics do not call us to oblivion and amnesia of what we have experienced. Their philosophy lies in the ability to transform pain, extracting valuable lessons from it. Seneca, one of the pillars of Stoicism, said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as exercise strengthens the body, but only if we use them for good." Pain, like a compass, can point the right direction, or it can turn into a cage that restricts freedom. It can awaken us to action, or, conversely, plunge us into a state of lethargic sleep. Pain can temper the spirit, making it unshakable, or it can break it, depriving it of the will to live. The outcome depends solely on our perception, on our thinking. Getting rid of the burden of the past does not mean erasing it from memory. It means depriving it of power over us, denying it the right to determine our present and future. Let the past remain only a memory, a passenger in the back seat of our life. It can whisper its stories, but it should not hold the steering wheel in its hands. Only we ourselves are the masters of our destiny. The past can only cause us pain if we voluntarily hand it the keys to our consciousness. The external world will never be silent. Its noise will haunt us everywhere. But we have the power to tame the storm within ourselves. This is our main weapon, the pursuit of focus, of peace of mind. That should be our goal. To achieve this goal, it is necessary to train our minds, turning them into an impregnable fortress where no one can enter without our permission. A place where every thought passes a strict filter before being taken on faith. A place where pain comes but leaves it transformed, enriched by experience. True strength lies not in shouting, not in violent reactions, but in endurance, in the ability to remain calm while the world around us spins in a mad dance. Leave behind the hustle and bustle and worldly worries. Forget about past failures and disappointments. Do not stray from the intended course. This path may not enjoy universal love and recognition. It lacks external attractiveness and ostentatious brilliance. It does not promise thunderous ovations and enthusiastic glances. But it is capable of giving something immeasurably greater and more valuable, the acquisition of one's own essence, the true self.